Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of SEOWiSE Office Hours. I apologize for the slightly 1 minute delay of starting. I'm trying to be much better on time. A little bit of trouble getting the stream going with YouTube live stream today. We have some pretty interesting stuff going on. This is actually the show from last week that we couldn't get going due to some technical problems. Today, we've got all sorts of stuff. We're going to talk about Phil Bowyer, who we interviewed last Friday, or 2 Fridays back, right? Gideon,
well, hello everybody.
Rosenblatt, who was 2 Fridays back.
Of SEOWiSE Office Hours.
And now we've got my own preview coming through the stream. That was funny. Todd, this is why I do not monitor the show. So we're going to talk to Phil. Talk about Phil, about Gideon, Zack, somebody else who's been doing some awesome work for us on YouTube. We've got the shit Mark T says. Awesome stuff from that today. The jelly roll. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to let Alex do most of the talking on this, I hope. International Women's Day. We are going to dive deep into women on International Women's Day. I'm just going to get that horrible joke right out front because it was something that came out of my head earlier today. Another reason we are working with a scriptwriter. But right now, let's talk about good people and shout outs. And Alex, I told you we were going to do this first. Here's our hi, everybody. Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody out there. So happy to see you this Wednesday. See you. Sorry about last Wednesday. Technical difficulties. I feel like we're like the champs of that.
The champs, technical difficulty?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm so proud. We own technical difficulty.
Yeah.
That we do. The good news on that, though, Alex, is the gigantic Christmas list of cool gear that is on the way. Most of which you say I have no idea what that means. This is what it's been like. Our angel has been working with me and Alex on a purchase order list of things to turn the studio into just cutting edge, state of the art, amazing stuff for YouTube and Hangout broadcast. And every time I tell Alex, do you know what that is? It's this, and it does this, and she goes, uh-huh.
Okay.
That's nice.
Great. I'm so stoked. It's okay. Sure. Yeah. I know you say he's been working with us on this. Lies. That would be a bad idea.
I always ask your input, right?
Yeah, which is really nice of you. And then it's sure.
All right. Well, we have some amazing gear on the way. Going to make this a lot easier for all of us. Going to improve the quality of the broadcast. Really looking forward to that. And then you will be hearing me babble about all this gear. Nerdgasms galore over the next several months. It's just going to be a bomb. If you are interested in knowing more about Hangout production, produced Hangouts, YouTube live stream, what Alex and I have been doing and working out and figuring out for months and how it all goes together, that's part of what we do now. So connect with us in the community, connect with us on Google+. Let's talk about it. We can help you out with that in any number of ways.
And if you think it's a snooze fest, I'll try to make it interesting for you. I can. Because they have to make it interesting for me. So if they can make it interesting for me, they can probably make it interesting for anybody.
Yeah, whatever. We try. We appease the girl. You know what I forgot? I know that was rough to say on International Women's Day, right? Here, I forgot this, everybody. This show, I do this, sponsored by Wirecast, with my really, really cool Wirecast graphic. It's the new inlay with the frame that Todd made us. So Wirecast, we're using it right now to broadcast this. You can't do what we're doing in a regular Hangout. You can't do what we're doing with a Hangout on Air. You need big boy tools. So we're using Wirecast.
Or woman tools.
What do you the big girl tools? Is that what you?
Yeah.
I thought your idea was that there is no gender. I thought the whole thing here was it doesn't really matter.
There
right?
is, but today I am especially observant of these. No, I personally don't care, but some feminists out there might. Big person tools.
Alrighty then. Big person tools like Wirecast. This is also being produced by Hang3 Productions. a woman-owned company as of now. And we want to thank Todd Labelle for all of his amazing help and contribution and time and care and mentorship and everything else. And he hates the fact that I mention him, so I'm going to do it all the time. Thank you, Todd. And finally, Google. Because if Google wasn't around making rainbows, I'm Rainbow Google Kool-Aid drinker, right? Todd's actually been helping me with that, understand some more of the balanced reality there. But the truth is, if we didn't have the Google web, and I call it the Google web because Google is pretty much what we use. If we didn't have their array of free services and their array of communication services like Hangouts, we wouldn't even be doing this. This wouldn't be around. So we always got to thank Google. Alex, that takes us into shout outs, I guess.
It does. Our first shout out, I guess I originally knew Phil better. Though you guys are I knew you guys would be best buddies in 5 minutes. But we do want to give a shout out to Phil Bowyer for joining us last Friday
Yes.
on our office hours. He always has some interesting things to say, as he basically deemed himself a rule breaker, and we like rule breakers. They're fun, they're interesting. So he had some cool things to say. He and John, I think, became best buds. So Phil, if you're watching this, if you're out there, which he did say even beforehand, he left a comment saying that he is here and he is ready. So Phil, shout out to you.
Sweet, yeah. Hey Phil, good to have you watching. Thank you. And listen, sorry, everybody's looking at you, Alex. So let's change that shot. This is what it's like to produce and host. The comment I made about the German Shepherd head tilt is totally out of bro love, man. I mean, it's kind of a guy thing, but you just remind me of a German Shepherd. That guy was like, huh? The fuck? So I love you, man. You're awesome. I love your rawness, the rawness of what you have to say. You're blunt, you're to the point, and it all makes sense. So we love you, Phil. Who's next here? What else we got in here? Then last Friday, so Phil was last Friday. Last Friday was Gideon Rosenblatt, who turned out to be this incredible wealth of information. Just, I think if anybody watched the show, here we are looking at this shot again. If anybody watched the show, it was, Gideon's conversational skills, the knowledge he brings, the information he brings to us, amazing. I love talking to people with this kind of higher level experience, this kind of corporate level experience. Gideon spends a lot of time looking at organizations and as their growth, as what are they? Are they living things? Are they a machine? And the interaction between human beings and the organization. And it was really cool to have a discussion with him that, was beyond nuts and bolts SEO and the basic this and that we talk about all the time. This was getting into some big thinking. And we have big data. This is big thought. And it was really cool to engage with him. Looking forward to doing more with Gideon and his wife CJ down the road. They're interested in what we've got going on, and we are very interested in having Gideon and his wife join us for more shows in the future. Gideon, if you're out there paying attention, thank you so much. You really help us raise the bar on this show, and I'm looking forward to working with you more in 2014. Alex, did you want to add anything to that? You don't have to.
He has such a calm presence, and I loved that. I kind of expected it of him, but everything he said had such a this, this is information, take it as you will. It was very I don't know, he seems like such a down to earth individual, but he has such before we were going to start talking to him, we were like, oh, this guy's smart. Uh-oh. Well, nice. Come on, let's be honest. We were like, how are we gonna do this? But he takes these huge thoughts and he's like, here's the knowledge I have. Just breathe. It's okay. Take it as you will. He has that calm presence that it was really. I think it worked well with our personalities, which is good.
I'd have to agree. I'd have to agree. So yeah, Gideon was great. One of the most fun things about the show is just bringing on individuals. I love meeting new people, and in that live setting, it really brings out difference in people. including us as the hosts. Lastly in this list, Zack Palm. You guys don't know who this guy is. I've mentioned him a few times. Zack is a young college guy working his ass off for us, learning as much as he can, really passionate about what's going on. And I just want to do a shout out to Zack. He's behind the scenes. He's building YouTube stuff for us and collecting videos and curating playlists and working on the WISE site. And you don't really see him much going on with me and Alex and the shows. But know that he's there. He's a hard worker. Look him up. Follow him. Pay attention to him. Show him some plus love. Zack, thank you for everything you do. You are a young guy building your authority, and you are going to be light years ahead of anybody your age in terms of the job market and doing what you need to do, because you're starting right now in Google+. So there's a little word of advice to anybody out there who's still in college and around 20 years old. Yeah. Anything to add to that one, Alex?
Just by the way, anyone out there, if you're a gamer, Zach's a gamer, so he
Yeah,
he
that's
likes
true.
talking about that kind of stuff, and he's a sweetheart. Like, I feel like I have this, like, this might sound bad, but I have this, like, bundle of really nice tech guys that I go to for certain questions, and he's in my bundle of, like, if I need tech help, or, like, all the guys that I have in that bundle, they also, like, I don't know, they'll just hit me up and be like, hey, are you doing okay? Because I'm a very stressed out person. I always have a lot going on. So he's one of those guys that's just like, hey, I just wanted to check in. Like, you're doing okay, right? You're okay. So he's a gamer, but he's also a really, really, really nice guy. So if you're interested in nice people, which who isn't, definitely connect with Zack.
No, I'm all about the assholes. I don't know nice people. No, good point. All right, here's this is also part of the show list. This is shameless plug for subscribe to our channel. Damn it. This horrible graphic is to show you the pathetic subscribership we have on the SEOWiSE YouTube channel. We'd really rather you connect with us there, because we're going to be putting more information on YouTube than we are anywhere else. Of course, we'll be sharing it in Google+, because that's where we like to chat. But subscribe to the channel. We'll be putting up so much more stuff there. Other playlists, curations from other channels. We'll be building more channels as well, and you'll be able to get those, access those, and know what's going on from our channel. So yes, this is a rude, blatant, just right in your face. We'd like you to subscribe to our channel, please. All right, now I'm done with that crap. Let's move on. Did you like the cheesy salesman?
Yes, can we please edit, like, cut that out and put it as the main video on our SEOWiSE channel? Just you with the graphic and that voice. Oh, that's perfect.
I could do it. Subscribe to our channel now. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah. But you have to honk the bike horn, and we have to make it really like shitty old time radio.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's blatant and rude, people, but here's the reason. YouTube is where we all want to end up. YouTube is where everybody is going to end up. So we'd like you to end up on our YouTube channel, because that's where we'll be putting the majority of the content. Enough said. Hey, is that in your neighborhood? Cops?
It's
That
all
never
in
happens.
my neighborhood. Actually, that one was a fire, it was a fire truck, which is funny. I know they don't just do fires, but it's raining today, so irony.
Yes, that is. Actually, yes. All right. So, Alex, the next shot here is you with Glass in the Class. Tell us all
Yes.
about it.
So this was last Thursday. We had Mark Traphagen come into my class, and of course, Mark being Mark, he was amazing. He did a fantastic job talking about verbal communication and online communication, even though I threw a couple of unanticipated questions at him, I think. But it was fantastic having him in my classroom. Unfortunately, we won't be doing a Glass in the Class this week, because they're starting their persuasive speeches this week. So they'll be doing the first people will be going tomorrow for their persuasive speeches. I'm really hoping that these go better than their informative speeches went, because that's all I really that's all I care about is improvement. But they get so stressed out about their speeches. I was like, I'm not gonna try to push them mentally this week. They're good.
That's very nice of you,
Right?
teacher.
And we actually won't be
That's
doing
very
one
nice.
next week, because next week is spring break for us. So Yeah, so it's going to be
So
2 weeks without glass in the class, but we should be able to do one the following week because my first class will finish their speeches early.
well, that's cool because hopefully we'll have some new gear to play with, and I'll eventually be sending some new gear your way, and we should have a much clearer picture in the classroom, which I think will be very cool. Yeah, so 2 weeks, we will have another glass in the class. If you're not familiar with that, I actually created an overlay for this. It's a pathetic one. It just says, subscribe to Glass in the Class. Glass in the Class is another channel. All right, we have SEOWiSE, Glass in the Class. If you want to see the next Glass in the Class, subscribe to that channel. It's not going to bug you incessantly. It's just going to give you a notification when we've created a new video. All right? It's just like subscribing to a blog.
It happens once a week. So, I mean, is that really that annoying? No.
No. But here's the bigger point with the subscriptions. Right? Subscribe to one of our channels. Pick. The goal is to get a subscriber base there because Google, once you get to a certain subscriber base, will actually talk to you and extra favors, I don't know, foot rubs, whatever. Bottom line is, we need a subscriber base over 10,000. 10,000 is our goal. It's just our goal. So help us out. All right. Man, I'm really going with the blatant subscriber thing today.
I know. We're just like stuck on it. They're going to walk away. I mean, we should at least try to make it a little bit more subliminal, you know? I mean,
I can do that. I can flash like a subscribe really quick behind the scene. Okay, I just got to say that, did you notice that Eric Inga did that on his trailer video?
No.
He did that. He literally put in subscribe that just flashes in a frame a couple times.
That, you know, maybe we should make it like play the video backwards and you'll hear us singing subscribe over and over again.
Okay, well, that would be better than what it used to be. I mean, that used to be how you heard devil music, all right? No, but yeah, subscribe. All right, moving on from the subscription. I think we're done with this stuff. Are we into the shit Mark T says?
We are.
Sweet. All right. Oh, wait, real quick. Who is your next Glass in the Class educator? Do we know yet?
We don't know yet. So if anyone is interested, I know that in the month of April, I will be having Yifat, but I don't think she comes in until mid-April. So I don't know who's going to be my first presenter back. I need to look at...
What about Gina Fidel? Didn't you talk to her too?
Well, she's... That was for the Friday office hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, anybody out there who would like to be a part, who would be an educator in Glass in the Class, please hit Alex or I up in the community or in Google+. We're looking for anybody and anyone who would like to come into the class. It takes anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour, depending on how long the class sits there. It's only supposed to last about 20 minutes. And we introduce you. You talk to the class for 5 minutes. There's a couple questions. You go back and forth. It's a really cool experience. I just want to be very clear. The purpose of this is to educate kids and to have an interaction. This is not a PR move. We will certainly promote you and your business and what you have going on. But the core content needs to be related to what Alex is doing within communications class. Alex and I, over the next 2 weeks, will be putting up a calendar to let everybody know what those classes will be. Right, Alex? Yeah.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's gonna happen. Maybe for the summer sessions, I'll get to that because I'll have some time to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, either way. So get in touch with us. We need educators. And yes, it is a PR opportunity for your business, but that's not the reason we want you to get in touch with us. I just make that clear. Kind of a little weird on that today, aren't I, Alex?
Yeah, you're really stuck on like subscribers, PR. This is, I mean, we're going into this shit Mark T says. Hopefully that'll get you out of this.
Okay. Yeah. No more talk about goddamn subscriptions and PR. All right. Here's the cover slide for shit Mark T says. Those of you who know me know that I talk about Mark Traphagen for many reasons. One is because, as far as I'm concerned, he is the pinnacle. He exemplifies what you need to do in Google Plus to be successful. Okay, the guy is a great guy. He's open. He's knowledgeable. He's not an asshole. He shares things. Everything this guy does is the right thing to do. There are plenty of other people that do that. But Mark, for the position he's in and where he's at in terms of his authority, is one of the most reachable individuals in that regard. And because my former life as a web developer and SEO guy involved a lot of web development and SEO, I ended up getting to know Mark, and we talked a little bit about these things. And Mark was one of the first influencers that I sought out in Google Plus as part of my attempt to grow my influence in Google Plus. He is a human being, and that is what I like the most. Anybody that has the courage to come into this social space and simply be who they are. No pretense, no fears, no worry about whether this looks right or looks wrong, yet overly cautious when they may have offended, right? Oh, it looks like I could have offended that person. Let me make sure that was not my intent. I mean, just meticulously careful about how he builds his public relationships with everybody and his individual relationships that are publicly present. We see how those happen. It's just a really cool thing. And so there was enough stuff that happened in the last few weeks that Mark said it was time to do this segment. We created a segment in the show called Shit Mark T Says. Yes, it's a direct rip-off of the show, the short-lived show, The Shit My Dad Says, which had William Shatner in it, which makes this even more beautiful. All right, Alex?
Yes. Absolutely.
So now we're going to this shot. If you guys can see in the shot, there is a Twitter conversation between William Shatner and Mark Traphagen, and I just love that. Everybody knows that I am a big Star Trek fan. I love the Shat. I love Mark T. It just this was a shattered moment for me. It doesn't get any better than that. I know it was a great joke.
You know, I thought it was hilarious though that when I asked him about it in Glass in the Class, that he said that having Hulk Hogan tell him that he's like cool in a hangout was more significant to him than Shatner tweeting him. I thought that was interesting.
Me too, considering I know he's a science guy, and I would have thought, I don't know. I'd have to agree. But that personal conversation with Hulk Hogan, I mean, he was in the HOA with him.
Right.
All right. That's a little bit more of a personal connection than a tweet. Okay.
That's true.
However, in terms of overall fandom and hugeness, I got to say Shatner all the way. Just, hands down. All right. But this isn't just about Mark T. The humanness of that conversation, the beautiful fact that it's just out there in the public. I love that. Can everybody see what it says? I'm gonna have to switch back to read it. I gotta squint up to it in my screen, but I just want to quote it. Traphagen says, at William Shatner tweets good morning and gets 28 retweets. I'm quitting social media. Okay. Shatner responds, at Mark Traphagen, not having a good day? Someone needs a hug. I love that. It's ridiculous that I would even give a shit, but I think that's awesome. Those little exchanges mean a lot for Mark, right? For Mark at his level, William Shatner is a much bigger influencer than Mark could ever be. Granted, they're in completely different worlds, completely different places, but that helps Mark's influence. No, it doesn't help his SEO keyword space, okay? That's okay. Sometimes the SEO doesn't matter. It's not important, right? What matters is the connection, right? There's a little bit of connection there. I am sure that gained Mark some followers in Twitter, some influence somewhere, all right? But outside of that, it gives him an opportunity to talk about it, right? I'm talking about it. Other people have talked about it. So just the fact that it occurred is something you can take and run with. What you do with it, up to you, right? But this is part of the reason I'm making this statement is because a lot of people say, well, so what? That guy plus this, or so what? This person made a comment. What do I do with that? Well, you do whatever you can with it. And if you don't know what to do with it, then go read more of what Mark has to say. Go read more of what Martin Shervington has to say, because they've been giving us functional examples of how to do this. Same with Alex and maybe a company called SEOWiSE. We do this all the time. So you've got to get the action. Once you get that interaction, you can do something with it, but it's up to you to capitalize on that little spark of PR. Alex, you want to add anything to that?
No, that actually goes really. You have the meme from Eli Fennell because that goes really well into that.
Yes, which I don't have any shot at all that actually pulls up that meme, unfortunately. Can you? It's the. Okay, everybody can see it in the top slide here, except we've got my name coming over on here. That is hilarious. Hang on one moment. Technical difficulties. There we go. I need a technical difficulties slide. Hey, Todd. Todd, I need a technical difficulties slide. Can you make me one? It can be humorous. It can be lewd. Whatever you want it to be. See in the upper corner there? That's the Eli Fennell inspired meme. Right? Traphagen! If you're not familiar with the Wrath of Khan, then you just need to go learn more about William Shatner. And if you're, I don't know. I may unfollow you. Let's just put it that way.
That's intense.
That's how much it means to me. Every red-blooded American should know the Wrath of Khan and that scream. All right. What else? Okay, we did the Eli Fennell. The meme is kind of funny. I mean, there's a great example of taking something else that's already been used. I mean, that Khan scream has been used and used and used for years. That came out in 1983, people. It's been around a while. Seeing it like this, using Mark Traphagen's name in it, that's a reuse. That's a reinvention. That's cool. That's creative content, right? So when somebody says, what do I do with that? Something like that. Okay. Next. What's the last thing in the cool stuff? Is the Mia Voss.
Selfie. I loved this. This had me laughing for at least a couple of minutes.
It's right. It's the middle photo in this cover, everybody. That is Mark. So he's on the Mia Voss social show. I don't know what is it called, Alex? Mia Voss Connect?
Something like that.
Sorry, Mia.
I know. Right. Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, Mia.
It's Mia Voss. She's got way more followers. Everybody that's following her is probably following us. Then anyway, you know Mia's show. All right, so Mia's got this great show, and Mark was on it, and this is his selfie. She had everybody take a selfie, and I love. You can't see the comments on it, but he's holding up he's promoting this yogurt cup, and he's like, next. I'm not sure why I felt the need to promo the yogurt cup, but there it is. That's the kind of stuff that just makes Mark awesome. That's the shit Mark T says. Okay, so yogurt cup selfie from Traphagen, just a beautiful thing. The last thing we're going to move into on this, I don't have a slide for it. I don't think it's in this collage piece. Actually, it's in this one. Okay, here's the full cover. It's I guess on your side of things. It's on the right side of the screen there. It's just a little piece from the first Cosmos show. I don't know how many of you saw the fact that Cosmos has been relaunched and Neil deGrasse Tyson is the host and Seth MacFarlane is the director, but holy shit, that rocks. Okay, that is just awesome. That's raising the bar. That is killer. I grew up with Carl Sagan and Cosmos, and I am so glad to see a return of that show. And Mark posted this great post because if you watch the first show, Neil deGrasse Tyson went and visited Carl Sagan as a young college student. Was it a college student, high school student? I don't remember, Alex. But Carl Sagan signed autographed the book, right? And Neil at the opening of the show had that autograph. That's powerful. Shit, I'm going to get teary thinking about it right now. That's super powerful. That's the power of education. That's the power of an influencer. Carl Sagan did offline influencing with Neil deGrasse Tyson that helped his passion soar. And now he's taken over the show for Carl. That is just the most beautiful, amazing thing. That is the kind of stuff I want this country to do. More of that. Less of the destruction. More creation. Cosmos. Beautiful, beautiful thing. We're going to roll the clip on that. That's the last little piece. We'll get into the Cosmos in a minute here, but Mark posted that. What did that do for Mark? What did that do for his sake? Because what did he do? He posted a shot that just said, "Look at this beautiful moment from Cosmos." Well, it does a number of things. It grows Mark's roundedness as a human being. It tells me things about Mark that I never would have known before. It grows the personal relationship between me and Mark because I feel the same way he does about cosmos and science. Right? From a business perspective, you're the business owner going, well, this is a waste of my time. Nobody's going to buy this or that from me by posting this. Nah, they're not going to buy anything, but they're going to build that relationship with you stronger than ever before. And when you're ready for them to buy and when they're ready to buy, it'll happen in a heartbeat. But this is the shift in mentality we all have to go through in understanding what modern content marketing is and the building of ourselves as human beings on the web. Us first, objects second. Mark is a great person, and I know him. It doesn't matter what he's going to sell me. Bananas, peanuts, web development, SEO, I don't care. I trust him, and that's more powerful than a brand or a product. Cosmos. Yeah, see how that all worked? That had nothing to do with anything. My God, I don't know where I was taking that. I am really on this frickin' sales PR thing today. I don't know why. Yeah. Sorry, folks. We'll talk about the real Cosmos after this. Right now, the Jelly Roll.
Yay. Fun.
Yes, and me off camera for a second so I can scroll up and find the damn Jelly Roll. The first thing is the hoverboard. But this is my awesome graphic for the Jelly Roll with my name title floating on there. That is hilarious. Let's take that out. Okay, let's try this again. The Jelly Roll! Without my name card stuck in there. All right, Alex. What do we got in the Jelly Roll? First one is...
the hoverboard.
Oh, yeah.
Not...
okay. The hoverboard. I am 44 years old and proud to admit that I watched Back to the Future in the actual movie theater when Michael J. Fox was my age.
That's cool.
And, yeah. And it was an awesome movie. And this was back before the DeLorean had been soiled by the guy who made DeLoreans, named DeLorean, and he did a bunch of coke and lost his car company. Back then, the DeLorean was awesome. All right. Do you even know what that is, Alex? The DeLorean?
Nope.
That's the car that went Back to the Future. Okay.
Oh, okay. So, why don't you just say that? Like, I know what that looks like. I saw the movie. What is it? There's like 2 or 3 of them.
Okay, well, people my age remember the whole DeLorean saga, right? The point of that would be, back then, when they went to the future, there were hoverboards. Okay? They were skateboards that floated. And for me in 1985 or 7 and whatever that was, that sounded terribly badass. And I didn't even use a skateboard, but a floating skateboard sounded incredible. Here we are, what, 20 years later, 30 years later, I don't even know when this video came out. But, and it's not new, right? This came out, was it a year ago?
Yeah, I don't think it's that new.
Yeah. What this is, what you're about to watch, is a great PR move. I've seen some of these videos before. We're just going to let it play a little bit. Here, let's just roll it while it goes. So what this is a video. They got Christopher Lloyd involved, and they made it look real. They used, camera tricks, whatever they did, special effects, and just shot this whole thing, scripted this whole thing, like Christopher Lloyd showing up in the DeLorean. That's the DeLorean, Alex.
Okay.
It's made of stainless steel. It was like a very interesting car at the time. Here's Christopher Lloyd walking up. He's got the hoverboard. They've created this product. Any business could do this. Any business could come up with this fake PR move. Discovery Channel did this with dragons. They actually did it was like a Discovery History thing where they did a show on dragons. I caught it. I caught it right like 5 minutes in, and I was hooked. I thought for sure they'd actually found a goddamn dragon in the snow somewhere. They only got me when they started talking about the frickin' how it made fire, and I realized it was full of shit, and I felt like an idiot. But this is even cooler because this tech, like, it could exist. We do have maglev, and we do have superconductor magnets. I mean, we could do this. I'm surprised we don't have it. So this was close enough to reality that, and if you look at the shots, Okay, you can see there's Terrell Owens, and yes, this has been sped up a bit, so they don't all talk that fast normally. But, you know, look, that guy looks like he's floating. That's awesome. Alex, you were sucked in, right? You totally bought it. Hook, line, and sinker.
I bought it I was like, oh my God, I want one of these. And I reshared it saying that. I was like, oh my God, I want one of these. And someone commented, they're like, yeah, too bad it's fake. And I literally I wanted to cry. But Google, if you're out there, you could totally make this. This is a personal request from me. Make me a hoverboard.
Yes, I'm on that. We need to start a campaign, crowdfunding campaign. Let's just get enough people to put enough funds together to send Google. And then we'll just tell them, look, we raised this much money. You put in the rest. Let's do hoverboards. I'm with you, Alex. That's a fantastic idea. We could all use these things. And I don't want to hear a super overprotective parent tell me about their kids and scrape knees, okay? I'm sure we'll come up with a bubble wrap you can put on your kid and stick them on the board, all right? But yeah, I love that idea. Fantastic, beautiful. Todd, we need a graphic for that. That's gonna be Todd, we need a graphic for that. No, not really, we don't. All right, what's next here? Now I'm losing track because that was exciting. The Martin video. Oh, one last thing on the hoverboard though. Just going into Back to the Future technology. Anybody notice that Nike actually did do the automatic laces? We should pull that up for the next time we do Jelly Roll, Alex. So and I'm pretty sure that wasn't fake because that's easy to do. Nike's got a shoe where you put it on, push the button, and the laces tighten up. Also from Back to the Future. And at the time that came out, total science fiction. Everybody was like, that'll never happen. Now, why not? They've already baked it into a pair of shoes. So very, very cool. The next video we have in the Jelly Roll, Alex, is Martin Shervington. Now, everybody out in the live viewing audience, this video is supposed to have audio with it, so Alex and I are going to do our best not to say anything for the next 36 seconds while you watch this particular clip, and then we will jump into it and talk about it. This is Martin Shervington doing stand-up comedy at, where was this? This is in San Francisco, and I can't remember, the Purple Onion, San Francisco. So here we go, Martin Shervington.
So as you can see, Google Glass, I'm slightly Google obsessed, so yeah, it's here. And I could say right now, okay, Glass, show me some lesbian porn. And it could, wait a second. Made some time on this one, do you mind? So there you go, contextual, it brings up, and it's, 2 girls, 1 glass on this one. Do you know what? That's possibly the best joke of the set, so if you didn't get it, then don't worry, but thanks, Joshua, that's good. So as you can see,
and there
we
go. And if Alex and I had actually been able to hear that, we'd be laughing too.
And
unfortunately, with the way I have the studio set up, we
Glass,
can't actually hear what's going on, or it would create a horrible echo and really make everybody unhappy.
Wait a second.
Yeah, but I do remember that porn is referenced.
Made some time on this one. So there you go, contextual, it brings up, and it's,
Well, it was, what was it, 2 girls, 1 glass, right? That was
Do you know
the joke.
That's
That's
possibly the best joke of the set, so if you didn't get it, then don't
Let me just say a
worry,
couple things about this.
Thanks,
First of all, having been a stage performer and rock star.
So as you can see, Google
stage
Glass,
performer, not a rock star. But
so
I will tell you this: getting up on stage in front of people and doing this takes the biggest balls you could ever have. All right. And Felix Baumgartner falling out of that capsule and parachuting 900 miles into the earth, that takes a lot of balls.
So
but getting up in front of people on stage takes even bigger balls. So the first thing I want to say is congratulations, Martin, because this takes courage.
That's possibly the best joke of the set.
Especially
so if you didn't
someone
get it,
jumping up there being a stand-up comedian.
But thanks,
and there are people that do this for a living. This is not what you do for a living. I mean, it may be a passion of yours, but
so,
man,
as you can see,
the courage. So
Google Glass,
congratulations.
I'm slightly Google
Secondly,
obsessed,
you actually told funny jokes.
That's
even harder to do. So congratulations on doing that as well. That's impressive. Third, you told a nerd joke that I actually got and found funny, and Alex found it funny too. That's like an Olympic medal in joke telling because that's hard to do.
Contextual, it brings up, and
wow, Martin,
2 girls, 1 glass.
Alex, what do you want to say about this video?
Do you know what? That's possibly the best joke of the set.
So
if you didn't get it,
I have been
then don't
trying
worry,
to get Martin
but
to do a hangout where he does stand-up comedy. So that's
So
the next
as you can
move,
see,
Martin.
Google Glass,
Loved the
I'm
video,
slightly Google
loved
obsessed.
it, and I
So,
think it's interesting
yeah,
that he
yeah.
does film.
And
You'll notice in the
I
bottom
could say right
corner,
now,
he does film
okay, Glass,
the
show me
audience
some
through
lesbian
glass, which I thought was an
And
interesting
it could-
experience to add in there.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
But next move,
Made some time
I
on
want
this one.
a stand-up comedy
there you go,
hangout.
contextual,
I don't want to
brings
be
up
in
and
it
it's,
because
yeah,
I don't do stand-up
Two
comedy.
girls, one glass.
But I want a stand-up comedy hangout
Do you know what?
because
That's possibly the
I
best joke of
think
the
it
set.
would
So
be
if you didn't
awesome.
get it, then don't
You
worry.
just-
But
I mean,
thanks,
Alex,
Joshua.
there it is right there. That's the next channel. We need to make a stand-up comedy show.
So as you can see,
Book
Google
the
Glass,
comedians,
I'm slightly
give
Google
them a
obsessed.
certain amount of
So,
time.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
know
it.
comedians?
And
I don't.
I could say
we
right
know
now,
one right now.
okay,
Martin.
Glass, show me some lesbian porn.
Hey Martin, we
And
need you to let
everyone-
me carry this for
Wait a second.
good.
No. We'll get. I do know
Make
other
some
people
time on
actually.
this
So,
one, come on.
but this is
So there you go,
something else we
contextual,
could do
it
with
brings up and
Hangouts.
it's,
What a
yeah,
great idea!
Two girls, one glass. On
And
this one.
instead of creating, no, we create
Do you
a
know what?
virtual improv.
That's possibly the best joke of the set.
And
so
for-
if you didn't get it,
listen, we're talking about
then
this.
don't
You know
worry.
there's one already.
but
One
thanks,
already
Joshua.
exists.
That's-
There has to be a freaking channel. All right, where is it? Somebody find the channel that's already doing this.
So,
Somebody's
as you
already
can
done a
see,
hangout like this.
Google
Let's
Glass,
just take it
I'm
and
slightly
produce it.
Google
That's a
obsessed.
great idea.
So yeah, it's, yeah. And
the glass
I
perspective,
could
very
say
cool
right
on
now,
this.
Okay, Glass, show me some lesbian porn.
Just another
And
example
it could,
of how to
Wait a
use
second.
video. Right? Martin
some
could
time
go
on
do
this
stand
one,
up.
come on.
He could plug his
So there
company
you go, contextual,
if he
it
wanted
brings
to.
up and it's,
He could
yeah,
plug his services.
two
I
girls,
mean,
one
even if you
glass.
didn't, you
On this
didn't know what he did, and
Do
you
you know
were
what?
interested,
That's possibly
this
the
is a
best
great way
joke
to
of
get
the
to know who
set. So
Martin
if you
is.
didn't get
You
it,
can put this up on his
then
YouTube
don't
channel.
worry,
No,
but
it doesn't
thanks,
sell his services, but it sells him, and that's more powerful than selling services. Yeah, there's a. I'm
So
going down
as you
that
can
road.
see,
again,
Google
All right,
Glass.
moving off of
I'm
Martin
slightly Google obsessed.
onto
so,
Cosmos.
Yeah, it's it. And
which
I
for some
could
reason
say right
doesn't want
now-
to load.
okay, Glass, show me some lesbian porn.
Oh,
There we
And
go.
Gail
it could-
Pasternak says she
Wait a
knows
second.
some comedians.
I bet she does. I bet she does. Awesome, Gail. Send them our way.
And Todd says Alex can do stand up too. No, Todd, no.
We're looking at the Cosmos cover now. This I told you we were going to talk about it, and the reason we're going to talk about it is because Cosmos is on Google Plus, and they're engaging. Right? And there's a lot of activity that goes on around this. Everybody's seen the posts being pushed back and forth, tweets and stuff from Neil deGrasse Tyson and Seth MacFarlane occasionally, but I don't have a ton to say about Cosmos because I pretty much said it all in the opener. What I really want to say is that I'm so thrilled that this is back on the air. It's a show that teaches you. It is edutainment. I know that word is overused in one of those silly jargon terms that nobody really likes, but that's what it is. It's interesting, it's entertaining, and it teaches you something. As a kid, I watched Cosmos and I dreamt and fell asleep about going to the stars and traveling in space, and Cosmos was the reality check to Star Trek. I'd watch Star Trek and see the aliens and warp drive, and I'd watch Cosmo and get a reality check on where we sit, and I'd think to myself, when are we going to be there? When are we going to get there? We're getting there. We're getting there very slowly, but we're getting there. Seeing Cosmos return to air, seeing what I think is a return to values that I believe in, which are a rounded education, creativity, reaching out and exploring, discovering new worlds, science, right? These things to me are returning. We just spent 20 years focused on war and greed, and I didn't like it. We're making a return to the human, a return to science, a return to education, a return to the things that are about creation, not destruction. And this show exemplifies that. Thank you so much, Neil deGrasse Tyson and Seth MacFarlane. And if I'm not mistaken, the show is running on Fox. Fox, you've done one thing. Thank you. I love it. You can go ahead and keep spewing your crap on your news channels as long as you keep running Cosmos. Thank you so much. I know it was a PR move. Really appreciate it. And Cosmos, if they drop you because you're too you teach evolution, we'll pick you up. Wise will carry you. We'll run Cosmos through YouTube.
Happily. Very happily.
Do you want to add anything to that?
No, I do just want to say that Todd says that Cosmos on TV is worth exploring and following. Great info for all generations.
Yes.
It's nice to see that even in mass media, we're doing this return to education and making education interesting and fun. And I love that this is that actually, like, even in my Facebook feed, I'm seeing a lot of people talking about how awesome Cosmos is. So it's really nice to see that this is catching on.
That is pretty cool when it's happening in Facebook because, you know.
Well, most of my friends are grad students, so that might make a difference.
That is true. We also have to have. I just remember this. The gentleman from the other country with the firefly hat. He's supposed to come on our show. I know that narrows it down. It's just a quick reference. Todd, we got to find that guy. He's fantastic. Remember you talked to him? He was the guy, the grad student. I want to say he was in Colombia or Bolivia or something. Anyway, he had a cool hat. All right. Yes, that was a ADD squirrel moment. Moving on. This is the deep dive in Plus. And the first graphic you're looking at is a really cool little motion GIF I grabbed from Video Blocks. This is the more appropriate deep dive in Plus. International Women's Day is what we're talking about. Yes, diving into women today. Alex is going to start that. Alex, you have the slide. Take it away.
Okay. I'm not one to rant, usually. It's usually John. And I'm not one to start to pick any fights. So I'm sorry if I pick a fight today. But I saw a bunch of stuff go around for International Women's Day. And that's awesome. That's great. But John actually asked me how I felt about it. Because I didn't reshare any of that stuff. I didn't make any comments on any of it. Because I think it's bullshit. I mean, cool. Give me a day to be like, hey, thanks. Phil Bowyer said the funniest thing in his post. He put Happy International Women's Day, and he was like, I don't know why you guys only get one day, but good for you. And that's what's really that really struck me, because that's my problem with it. I'm like, great, you come to me on this day and you're like, hey, you're a woman. Good for you. I'm like, what does that do for my equality? What does that do for anybody else? I mean, I've grown up relatively privileged. I was raised to be a very independent woman, but I've met people from Middle Eastern countries, from China, and I mean, they're the lucky ones that came to America and they get to have these experiences, but they tell me about all of these other situations that they see people in, specifically women, and it's just like, what is having an International Women's Day, what is that doing for them? Absolutely nothing. If you want to tell me, hey, I appreciate the fact that you're a woman and that you contribute to society, go do something for them. Like, I've got it, I'm good. You don't have to tell me Happy International Women's Day. Tell me that you sent them something, some sort of money. I know that there's a bunch of programs that help women in Africa do their own financing, because most of them rely on men. And they actually they make necklaces and they sell the necklaces. Tell me that you bought a necklace and you helped a woman that way. Tell me that you're helping women somewhere else gain the equality that you're telling me that I have on this specific day. That's what really just kind of upsets me about that. It doesn't necessarily, it just that's why I didn't respond to any of that stuff about International Women's Day. Someone did share a picture about all of the different, I don't remember what it was. Do you have it in the pictures, John?
Of what? I'm sorry.
Of it was International Women's Day, and then it had pictures of all these different women that don't have the equality that we're technically celebrating.
Yeah, that's in the. Let me pull up the main slide here. I don't know if people are going to be able to read the statistics, but yeah, that slide is up right now.
Okay, so that I mean, that's not really my way of approaching these types of issues, but that's just one example of kind of what I'm talking about. It's like, great, International Women's Day. Cool. That really doesn't do anything for me. And why are you just telling me on one day? That is one thing. Denis Labelle does something really interesting. He calls it Women Wednesday, and he highlights women in plus that are doing interesting and really high level things. He highlighted Yifat Cohen a while ago. He highlights her last name's Nakamura, and she does the Curious Mind.
Oh yeah.
He highlights her sometimes. So that has a little bit more meaning to me because he does it every Wednesday. He's not just saying, okay, it's International Women's Day. You know, he's saying he's reminding you at least once a week that women are here and we make contributions and we deserve the equality that we do. And he's not doing it in a really in-your-face way. It's just like, hey, check out this cool woman in plus. So that's something that I appreciate. But that's great, celebrate International Women's Day, cool for you, but that's why it's not that important to me.
I like that. I can't disagree. To me, what you just said, and this is what I heard, was you liken being told International Women's Day kind of like we used to call gay pride. Right? Hey, you people all go out there and have a parade. That's nice. Right? So you'd consider it a little patronizing, I'd imagine, when all these guys go, hey, you women, you get a day. Right?
Yeah.
I get that. I get that. And I understand it. And the only thing I can offer you from my perspective, being raised by, my father is a feminine man, and he would be proud to hear that and say it. And I was raised that way. Being feminine or having feminine characteristics, to me, much more valuable than being a masculine knuckle dragger. Okay? The respect, the equal respect of human beings, to me, doesn't come from testosterone. All right? There's a big difference, and this is something I want to talk about, Alex, and we don't have to get into this today about the International Women's Day. You and I have talked about the genetic differences between man and woman and how those do play a role in our differences, our strengths, right? I will say this, and I've said this before, and I know I'm going to get a bunch of manly men, and Mike Eline, I don't think you've watched this show in a while, but Mike Eline is one of my great friends, but we couldn't be at more opposite ends of the spectrum in terms of how we look at men and women and this kind of stuff, all right? I believe that had we let women be the predominant rulers of our societies for the last 10,000 years, we would be far beyond this solar system at this point. Instead, men have ruled predominantly, and men tend to just want to beat things up, go to war. We're genetically ordered to survive. That's what men do. If we're going to separate men and women at all, it's the fact that we, in the hunter-gatherer role that we played, went out and hunted and grabbed the meat and survived because those were the skill sets. What did women do? They dealt with the society, kept the family together, the communication, the group. When you think about that for a community, for a civilization, which would you rather have running things? I'm going to go with the group organizer, not the guy who can drag his knuckles and shoot shit with a spear, okay? And I'm a guy and I'm saying that, okay? I'm embarrassed for my gender at the way we have treated women and continue to treat women. I'm sorry, Alex. I'm very sorry. Nothing you or I say is going to change that anytime soon. And religion has done quite a bit to make it this way. I'm sorry, everybody who believes in God, but your religion does not treat men and women as equals. None of them do. And maybe Buddhism. I don't know. I don't even consider Buddhism a religion.
No, but you can't have female monks.
Okay. Any kind of discrimination. Any kind, right? Religion does not treat men and women equally. None of it does. So it's done damage to that relationship. Women will not be respected equally amongst men until they have the ability to make it so. I'm not sure how we're going to make that happen, because there's a lot more knuckle-dragging, uneducated men out there today than there were 30 years ago. And that's a direct result of the United States' lack of interest in a sole education system. Yeah, this is a big, long-winded apology to women. Alex, I hope that as you and I move forward with this, as we grow this channel, as we continue producing shows, that we can stand out and continue to push this message. Because as far as I'm concerned, we're equals, but you stand above me in many things because you are capable of those things. You are genetically predisposed to those things. That's not men and women being equal at all. That's apples and oranges, because we do have differences that we need to celebrate. And I know you and I will go round and round on some of those things, all right? But I just want to say thank you for putting up with men for the last 10,000 years. That's the only positive way I can say it.
Well, luckily I was raised by a very, I mean, I don't know if my dad would appreciate it, but he's a rather effeminate man. And in his defense, it was me, my sister, my mom, and him. So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He was surrounded, huh?
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of testosterone in the house, unfortunately for him.
I understand. What else? I mean, looking at we had some certain things highlighted here about Women's Day. Are there any? You talked about Phil. Do you want to talk about any of the other things? The Google Doodle. I kind of missed it. Was it cool?
It was, yeah, it was cool. Like, and it made its rounds on Plus and everything. It just, again, it just doesn't mean a whole lot to me, unfortunately.
Right.
Like, I'd rather Google just like take the Google Doodle down completely and just leave a small message at the bottom saying, we donated this much money to women's equality here. Like, that would have meant more to me. But it was a cool doodle. Sure.
Very cool. Very cool. I want to bring up we got 2 minutes. Actually, yeah, I'm going to skip this other piece. We'll talk about Kristen next time. So, International Women's Day. Thank you, Alex. That was very nice. And I want to just recap what you said. As a man, what you're telling me is that instead of being patronizing and saying, hey, have a nice day, you want me to say, hey, I donated $20 to the women who got the shit beat out of them over in the Middle East fund, or the people over there that did this to women fund, right? You want me to take action, do something to improve the inequality, and not necessarily here, but anywhere, right?
Yep. That's
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
I think what we need to do, because of where we're headed in terms of nonprofitness, I think you and I need to pick some suggestions. So we should do that for next show, is pick some suggested charities. Say, if you want to take action, be it monetarily or volunteer, here are some ones we suggest. We should find something for local and something for international.
Okay.
And if anybody out there listening has suggestions, we'd love them. How can we make International Women's Day not even need to exist because we just know that women are equal? All right? That would be fantastic. Any comments that we need to address at this point, Alex?
No, Todd's been just on it. But he did say that there is an International Men's Day, apparently. So I look forward to seeing how that day is in general. It's kind of like, okay, we're totally going to go over time because I still have to do the communication connection. But I have to say this because I hear this all the time from people. You know how there's the Black Entertainment Channel?
Yes.
All the time it's always white males. They're like, why don't we get a channel? And it it kills me. I can't. I'm like, I don't know, maybe you should suggest it. I just don't even. I'm like, well,
no.
All the other channels are yours. You guys get Fox News.
Right. Every other channel is dedicated to white males. All right. Come on. Really? But if you want one, I think it's a great idea. It would be called Wet. So go for it. Create the Wet channel. I think that would be fantastic. The White Entertainment Channel. Wet. All right? I think that's it. You've got shows like Wet Dreams that would be fantastic. I mean, we could have all sorts of, it would be, you know, the Wetisodes. Oh my God, we could have fun with that. That kind of entitlement. One of the reasons, and I'm sorry, I'm bringing it back to gender. Guys tend to, I can't even go there. Wrap it up with the communication connection, Alex. Take us into positive, please.
Okay, well, I don't know if it's necessarily positive, but it's at least thoughtful. So we're talking about all of this stuff about women, and women came up a lot during the International Women's Day, like it was almost like a week. So
You got a whole week?
Well, I know. God. We just need so much. So I really dived into feminism, and there are a lot of communication scholars that are feminists, and feminism has become kind of a negative term, unfortunately. You know, you think of the like scary in your face, like I hate men feminists, and that's not true. They're just the radicals that stand out. But feminism in communication, they look at the English language because it's naturally patriarchal. It's got, you have mailman, policeman, most of our stuff ends with man, and they say that these words develop this idea that a mailman needs to be a man, a policeman needs to be a man. So that's why they look at the language that we use and how it's affecting our actual identity and how it affects the way that women function in society. And there are a ton of different kinds of feminists. I mean, there are even just in communication, there's like 6 different kinds of feminists. You have like standpoint feminists, liberal feminists, you have like post-positive feminists, you have all of these different kinds. But what's interesting to me is I try to think of how do we deal with this issue? How do we deal with getting women equality, or as John likes to say, recognizing their differences in a positive way? And if I highlight my feminism, if I highlight the fact that I'm a female, am I marginalizing myself? If I highlight my differences, does that marginalize myself? Or if I hide them and I try to be equal with men, does that show that I'm ashamed of myself? And that also marginalizes myself. So I go around in these circles of how do I remedy this issue of inequality? What is it going to take? And that's why there's so many different kinds of feminism, because each one says something different. And I still don't know which camp I sit in. I don't know if we need to just tear everything down and restart, or if we can do what John says and just highlight the differences, accept them, and be on equal grounds for everything else. And each person has, I don't know, socialist, I guess. But something to think about. What kind of feminist are you?
And this is a great thing to think about. I would love, this is something else we're going to have to do for next week. Let's come up with some different versions. Let's see if we can't help people define themselves in that regard.
Yeah, I really don't have time to go into the 5 different, which I had to know for my theories exam, but I don't have time to explain each one of them.
Well, that's all right. Beautiful wrap-up, Alex. Thank you. And I believe, 2 more days left in your finals hell week, right?
Well, until spring break, and then I have 5 more weeks of school after spring break.
Well, yeah. I'm just trying to get us to spring break, for God's sakes, please.
Then yes.
Don't even.
2 days.
Yes. For everybody out there, this has been Office Hours Wednesday edition. And if you're interested in being a part of the show, or being mentioned on the show, or having anything to do with it, please contact Alex and I in Google Plus in our community. Reach out to us. For myself, Alex, and Todd, I'd like to say thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you on Friday. We are talking with 2 people who I didn't even mention. We are talking with Michael Mason and David F. Leopold, they have hosted Hangouts, and we're going to find out what that is. It's different than what I thought it was, and it's really kind of cool, and I'm hoping they'll give us a sneak peek and let us attach their really cool system to the show, and then we can show you guys what it does. So join us Friday for an interview edition with Mike Mason and David Leopold with Hosted Hangouts. For John and Alex, say goodbye, Alex.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.